Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have been watching these characters navigate their complicated lives for more years than I can count. And I have to tell you, ladies, the current situation brewing between Carter, Steffi, and Ridge is giving me serious anxiety. Carter Walton has always been a character I respected deeply. He was the steady rock in a sea of Forrester chaos. But his recent mistake of crossing that ultimate line with Steffi is about to cost him everything. It is not just his marriage to Daphne Rose Walton hanging by a thread, or his brotherly friendship with Ridge. His livelihood and his place at Forrester Creations are on the chopping block. I feel a deep disappointment because we all know a secret of this magnitude will never stay buried. How long do you think it will take before this bomb detonates? Watching the episode on August the 24th was an exercise in pure emotional agony for me. Seeing Ridge stand in that office, looking Carter right in the eye, and expressing such heartfelt gratitude to him for being a pillar of strength for Steffi literally made my skin crawl. Ridge genuinely believes that Carter was simply offering a friendly shoulder for his daughter to cry on. I could see the unwavering sincerity in Ridge's eyes, completely oblivious to the dark reality that Carter provided a lot more than just a sympathetic ear that night. The dramatic irony dripping from that moment was incredibly heavy. It makes me wonder how Carter could even manage to look his best friend in the face without crumbling under the weight of his own guilt. For the longest time, I have viewed Carter as the undisputed moral compass of the Forrester family. He was the brilliant legal eagle, the loyal man who officiated their weddings and stood faithfully by his friends. But now, seeing him cross this unforgivable boundary with Steffi, I am left feeling utterly shocked and deeply heartbroken by his lack of judgment. How does a man who seemingly has the perfect life, a beautiful wife in Daphne, a stellar career, and the absolute trust of the most powerful family in fashion throw it all away for one drunken night? My honest opinion is that Carter has been quietly struggling with his own inner demons, and he allowed a fleeting moment of vulnerability to destroy his rational thinking. It is a tragic fall from grace, and I strongly predict that the personal and professional consequences will be far more severe than he anticipates. Of course, we absolutely cannot talk about this impending disaster without taking a hard look at Steffi Forrester Finnegan's role. My heart naturally aches for the agonizing pain she is going to cause her family, but I also feel a strong sense of frustration directed right at her. Steffi is frantically determined to keep this one-night stand a closely guarded secret, acting as if sweeping it under the rug will magically make it disappear. But as a seasoned viewer, I know for a fact that the truth is a relentless force on this show. Steffi and Carter were both heavily intoxicated, desperately seeking emotional comfort in a moment of weakness. I cannot help but critically evaluate her mindset. She is living in sheer denial. Does she truly believe she can outrun her guilty conscience forever? The sheer anticipation of Ridge finally discovering the ugly truth is literally keeping me awake at night. We all know Ridge Forrester extremely well by now. We intimately know his fierce, almost blindingly protective nature when it comes to his fiercely independent daughters. When the truth inevitably comes crashing into the light of day, I confidently predict that Ridge is going to experience a level of explosive fury that we have not witnessed in many years. He is going to feel completely violated, not just because another man slept with his daughter, but because that specific man was his most trusted confidant. I can already vividly picture the veins popping in Ridge's tense neck. In my considered opinion, Ridge will bypass Steffi's willing role in the affair and direct every single ounce of his destructive anger squarely onto Carter's shoulders to protect his little girl. Adding a whole other fascinating layer of complexity to this mess is Ridge's sudden, highly suspicious shift in attitude regarding Hope Logan Spencer. During his recent conversations with Carter, Ridge started pointedly reminiscing about the difficult past, bringing up the old Forrester family coups and Carter's complicated romantic history with Hope. Ridge suddenly started acting like he deeply cares about Hope's emotional well-being again, showing visible annoyance that Carter was spending so much time around his stepdaughter. They are intentionally piling on the psychological guilt for Carter, reminding him of every boundary he has ever crossed. It feels to me like Ridge's protective fatherly instincts are already on high alert, which will only make the devastating discovery of the Steffi secret that much worse. The professional fallout at Forrester Creations is going to be nothing short of a catastrophic event for everyone involved. I would not be surprised in the absolute slightest if Ridge becomes so blindly enraged by the betrayal that he fires Carter right on the spot. I can vividly and painfully imagine the profoundly humiliating scene where Ridge furiously demands that building security physically escort Carter off the company premises, ruthlessly stripping him of his dignity in front of the entire staff. Ridge will undoubtedly insist that Carter immediately step down from his executive duties and will absolutely refuse to take another word of legal counsel from a man he now views as a traitor. This situation evaluates as a complete professional massacre for a man who worked so hard to get to the top. When the massive bomb finally drops and Ridge unleashes his terrifying wrath upon the office, I strongly believe that Steffi will feel an overwhelming moral obligation to step in and fiercely defend Carter. Despite her many documented flaws, Steffi actually has a very strong sense of justice when pushed into a corner. She knows perfectly well that they were both incredibly drunk and that she was a highly willing participant in that terrible mistake. I predict that we will soon see a heartbreaking confrontation between father and daughter, with Steffi desperately screaming at Ridge to back off and bravely admitting that the heavy blame belongs equally to both of them. However, my deepest worry is that Ridge is so incredibly stubborn that her desperate defense will completely fall on deaf ears. He will likely continue to view Steffi purely as the innocent victim of Carter's manipulation. What truly deeply breaks my heart into a million pieces in this tragic scenario is the impending destruction of Steffi's beautiful marriage to John Finnegan. Finn is such a remarkably decent man who loves his complex wife with every single fiber of his being. The shocking revelation of this drunken affair is going to completely shatter his perfect world. I feel a profound sadness for Finn, knowing that his unwavering trust is going to be decimated by the two people he trusted. When Ridge inevitably finds out the truth, I am absolutely certain he will loudly blame Carter for single-handedly ruining Steffi's marriage, conveniently ignoring the glaring fact that Steffi made her own destructive choices. Ridge will exclusively see Carter as the evil villain. I simply cannot help but wonder exactly how Finn will react to Carter when the dust settles. Amidst all this Forrester family chaos, we absolutely cannot forget about the innocent collateral damage sitting quietly in Carter's own home. Daphne Rose Walton is going to be completely blindsided by this massive, soul-crushing betrayal. My heart sincerely goes out to her because she has done absolutely nothing wrong to deserve this kind of devastating public humiliation. Just imagine finding out that your loving husband not only cheated on you, but did so with the powerful daughter of his boss. The sheer emotional devastation she will endure is hard for me to fathom. I evaluate Carter's reckless actions as unforgivably selfish, throwing away a stable partnership for a fleeting moment of drunken solace. I strongly predict that Daphne will immediately pack her bags and leave him without a second thought. Carter is very quickly going to find himself entirely alone, isolated from everyone. As I sit here quietly reflecting on all these rapidly moving parts, I am truly struck by the sheer, overwhelming tragedy of it all. It is absolutely fascinating, yet entirely horrifying, how one single night of drunken lapse in judgment can act like a massive wrecking ball, swinging through the lives of so many beloved characters. I feel a complex mix of intense excitement and uncomfortable anxiety every single time Carter and Ridge share the screen now. The proverbial clock is loudly ticking, and the suspense is becoming almost unbearable for a longtime fan like me. Will Carter finally find the courage to confess on his own terms? I just desperately hope that when the dust settles, there is some small path to redemption for Carter. What do you think will happen?